all of the shows that we do with you here as a guest have been just so enlightening on a lot of levels, no doubt about it.
Just give me a problem and I'll give you back a solution.
Perfect.
That's what I like to do. Throw the worst problems in my direction.
Give her a call.
Right.
She'll prove it.
That's right.
Well, now getting back to the subject that we're speaking about, let's explore the financial aspect. It's a big issue for assisted living, and it is actually quite a shock to most people. Could you please speak about that?
Well, the big shock is that in the state of California, it is all coming out of your bank account. And you do not want to get a reverse mortgage, because the temptation with a reverse mortgage is to spend the money that the government gives you. So don't get a reverse mortgage. That's a really bad idea. And don't spend your money, because the really nice assisted living facilities now in 2019 are, $5,000, $6,000 each month, and it's all coming out of your pocket in the state of California. So this is a really, worrisome thing. And we have the best climate in the world, and we have lots and lots of places that you could move to in the Santa Barbara area, Santa Barbara, Goleta, etc. But they're expensive. Now you can share a room, and sharing a room is usually about $3,000, $3,500 this right now. But most people who don't want to leave their own home don't want to share a room, unless they're very, chatty and friendly. And those people are going to do really well, because then they can save a lot of money. So the bottom line is you want to save your money, be very practical, and it's a balance. I mean, if you feel well now and you don't want to just stay home, you want to enjoy yourself and do things that are fun, but at the same time, if you're going to need help later, then you're going to need to have the money for that. So it's a tricky thing, and it's better that you know this now than that you're shocked later. But at least my services are free. So any guidance that I give you, conversations with me aren't going to cost you anything about that. That's one small favor.
Comes down to that money we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, help us understand what makes the best assisted living facilities.
Well, Fred, if I could have the Herman Brain Dobbin small map, that would be great. Just a little one. Thank you. So again, what's best for one of your loved ones isn't necessarily best for the other one. So, there are some of my favorite places in Santa Barbara that have a lot of different benefits. So one person is going to love one because the woman who runs it is a nurse. And so that makes somebody feel really, really comfortable. And it's what's called a board and care, so there are only 6 residents at any time. And it's like 6 of you live in a house together, kind of like a sorority or fraternity. So it's, it's a small house, and a lot of people like the fact that they get a lot of personal care, and it's very much a home environment. Some people like activities. They like a lot of action. They like a lot of new people to talk to. So for them, it's got to be that. They have to have a place where people are playing, cards, they're playing Scrabble, they're playing bingo, they're watching movies together, all of this. I just went to a place in Ojai that's fabulous. And it had a beautiful movie theater that has, seats for about maybe 15 people at a time, and they have a whole library of vintage films that I love, and it's beautiful, and the energy there is great. And there are a lot of places that have different attributes. So when somebody tells me, well, this is what mom likes, this is what dad likes, this is what my husband likes, this is what my wife likes, then I'll begin to make a list of, what it is depending on budget, and, if the VA is going to pay part of it, that's a big plus too.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful. I would suggest people give Susan a call on this whole issue, because she does her research.
And something else, I've worked with friends who are young, who, they're a little older than me, but they're young, and they wanted me to show them places when they were perfectly healthy and highly functional and could make intelligent decisions. So I remember taking one of my friends, it was a couple of years ago, do you remember?
Yes.
And she liked a place. It wasn't my favorite. For whatever reason, I just found it a little bit sterile, frankly. And she really liked it. And I said, well, that's all that counts. And I'm the person who's going to make the decisions for her. So I said, it's great that you're making the decisions now, because now I'm able to see what it is you like about this. There was another one that I liked much, much more, because I like privacy and I like peace. And I love the fact that this other place had it's an architectural gem.
Okay.
Whereas the place that my friend likes is brand new. Just brand new, and it's a whole different energy.
Yes.
Literally a different energy. So it's up to you. You're the resident, you make the decision.
Oh, I like that. You can explore this before it.
You need to.
Yes, that's nice.
Yeah.
Kind of preventive finding,
Yeah, I mean, some of these places have been in business for 40 years, so they don't make that many changes.
Perfect. And what about the food? That's
a big
one.
I always suggest, I just had lunch at the place in Ojai with the potential resident and her relative, and the food was really good, and they do gluten-free, and they do vegetarian, and they do dairy-free, and of course, people who have diabetes, there's always a diabetes diabetic diet, and so all of that's there. You don't have to worry about cooking and shopping anymore.
What a relief in some ways. Now, I know, Susan, that you have some tips for finding the best senior living options. So help us describe some of those.
Well, first of all, I'll find them for you. So, that's the easy solution. You tell me what you're looking for, we talk about it, we talk about the budget. But here's the really important thing, which is the fact that you have to be mentally functional in order to have the best quality of life in an assisted living facility. And that means you really have to be using your brain. That means you really can't just say, okay, I'm old now, I'm 80, I'm 85, I'm 90, I'm 95, whatever it is. I'll let somebody else worry about that. I'm just going to stay home and watch, sitcoms on television. Be very aware that people are going to be assessing you before they let you move in to an assisted living facility to make sure that you're going to fit in with the population. It's just like a driver's license. So if you want to be able to drive, I was just talking with Gigi about this. I studied for about a month last, 6 months ago, something like that?
Yeah.
Because I had to take my driver's licensing test again. And I studied and studied and studied, and it was good for me. Kept my brain, focusing on something that was boring and data-driven. It was like doing math, nothing I enjoyed. But it's good. I said, well, at least I could do it. At least I could memorize all that stuff, as boring as it is. But you've got to keep your brain functional, because here's the thing. People who think that they're doing fine don't realize that the assessment is about facts, figures, dollars, and numbers. You have to be able to remember, usually, a list of things that somebody says to you, and you have to be able to repeat that list back. And a lot of us haven't had to do that since we were in high school.
There you go. Yes.
Forget about college. But, if you have to remember, blue, 14, Chevrolet, barbecue, and 3 more things, right? That makes no sense at all. And I was actually at a skilled nursing facility in LA, and I was like, oh my God, what was that? Huh? What? Because you don't have to use your brain in that way anymore. That, by the way, is the upper left and the lower left brain. Most of my friends are very right-brained. Most of the people that I know in Santa Barbara are very right-brained. But it is your left brain that's going to be your best friend as you age. So this is a good time to start practicing. Crossword puzzles, but difficult ones, not easy ones. Scrabble, not kids Scrabble, grown-up Scrabble. And while I understand people sitting and coloring books, that's something to do, that's busy work. But that's not going to make you somebody who is qualified to be living in an assisted living facility that you want to be in that requires you to be able to make intelligent, practical decisions on your own. And so it's about use it or lose it. You've heard that about sex before, so this is about the brain. Use it or lose it.
Wonderful information. Now, I know that often you'll find a family, let's say, at least 3 options, each of which are excellent for the elderly person. What is the best way to make that final decision?
Well, assuming that they're all the same price, more or less, right? So I always like to see the expression on the client's face, the person who's going to be living there, when I show them certain things. Like if I show them the garden or the yard and they get excited. Or we're sitting at lunch or an early dinner and they really find it delicious and they get excited. Or I introduce them to people who are already living there, or the person who's the resident manager, and they get excited. So what you're looking for is something that they're going to respond to, because that person could be there for 10 years, you know. So if somebody's having some sort of cognitive issues, that can happen very young. So somebody might be in an Alzheimer's facility for 30 years. And these are beautiful places. So I, forget that I used the F word. That's not the right word. It's a beautiful building, and it's a lovely environment because we don't show things to people that aren't. But look to see what that person resonates with. Look to see what they get excited by. Some people get excited because the closets are bigger in their apartment or room. No, it's really true.
Okay.
That's exciting because that means to them that they're going to be, well, we can appreciate they get to bring more of their wardrobe with them, right?
Never a big enough closet, right?
Yeah. And that's the one thing, there's always a shortage of closet space. These are, it's pretty small closets. So there's always that issue. If that's the thing that excites somebody, or the fact that there's gardening, or the fact that somebody comes in and plays music every week, or somebody comes in and there's dancing, or as I said, movies, whatever it is, look to see what about the activities excites your relative or loved one, because that's the place. Because we're not going to suggest places that aren't safe. They're all safe, they're all attractive, they're all clean, they're all neat. They all come with 3 meals a day, or snacks too if you want them. They all are going to take into consideration the special diets. They're all going to help you get to and from doctors. So all of that is, that's what every place I recommend offers. But now it's what are the special benefits that you're looking for? Because you've got to keep somebody interested. I hear stories again and again and again where somebody was told, well, your mother's going to live another 6 to 9 months. And 9 years later, I met the woman. 9 years later, she was having such a good time. She didn't like being home alone. And so now she's in a place she likes. The people love her. She loves them, and she's doing great.
Oh, that's a good story. I like that.
A bunch of those. I have a bunch of those.
There you go, the right place. Well, wonderful, Susan. Thank you so much.